Hi, I'm Clark. Today we're going to take a few moments to look at the UI Builder. The UI Builder is a graphical user interface that can help you to develop and prototype applications that can be used over the internet. One of the things that appealed to me using this interface was that on the left-hand side there's a panel that says Toolbox, and in this panel there's different code elements. There's labels, there's tags, there's buttons, and you can drag and drop these to the screen in a what you see is what you get kind of fashion and arrange them how you want them, push a button, and it runs. Then later on you can go back into the code section and make these elements do just what you want. Here are a few of the things we hope to cover during this brief presentation. Moving elements between tabs. We'll use a very simple way of using the code page to move two elements from tab A to tab B. Then we're going to examine one of the examples on the forum that shows how you can connect the elements, the graphical elements, to the code to get it to do something. We'll take a graphical element and make an on-click event that goes to a web page. Then we'll show an example of sharing code for simple small projects if you save it as a runtime HTML. To start with, we're going to go to the Toolbox section on the left side of the UI Builder and go to the Containers. From there we'll select Tabs. After we drag that to the screen, we'll go to the Media section and drop an image element on the screen. Oh no, where did it go? Not to worry. This demonstrates the way that the UI Builder helps to keep track of the visual components that you put on the screen, in case you happen to lose sight of it. Now we're going to put a picture in this image, and then we're going to clone it a number of times, spread them out on the palette here, and then put different pictures in each one of them. Although this is a very simple operation, the first time I wanted to do it, it wasn't real obvious, so it seemed noteworthy of a mention. The first thing we do is click the Code tab in the upper left-hand corner. The two image elements we're interested in are going to be 6 and 8. At the end of this block of code for image number 6, you'll see an A. We simply change it to a B. After we do this, let's check the design view and see what happens. It looks like it worked. Okay. Stephen, one of the moderators over at the forum, put together a small tutorial whereby he had a button and an input field, and the input field had a web address in it, and when you click the button, the program would open up a small box, and within the box would be the web page. That's what we're doing here visually, but instead of using a button, we'll just use this graphic image. So on the left-hand side, let us go to Form Elements and select Input and drag and drop that to the screen. On the right side of the UI Builder where it says Component Config, go ahead and change the input for the alias to input number 1. Then in that same panel, we drop down a couple where it says Value, and we'll type the address of the Google page in there. Now, click on graphic image number 4, the picture of the hat. Now in the same panel, Component Config, we're going to select the events, and we're going to go down to the on-click event. Once you select it, a little button will pop over to the far right. When you click that, it will take us to the code page and it'll make an event handle for us. What we're going to do here is we're going to replace this default code in the event handler and replace it with a code of Stephen's demo. Now, let's check to see if it works. Very good. It does just so. That takes us to our next item, clicking on a graphic element and going to a web page. For this operation, we'll select the graphic image number 7, and then in the right hand panel where it says Component Config, we'll select Events, and then we'll select the On-Click field. To the far right, the little window will show up. Click on that, and an on-click event handle will be made for us with some default code in it. We'll replace this little default code with some code I found on the forum that allows this to go to a web page. Now let's see how it works. Selecting Run, and in this case I told the URL to go to my Gmail, so yes, that works. This is perhaps the most useful part of the demonstration. By having small projects that you save as a runtime HTML, you can exchange information with others on small projects that are simple. As you note here, this is being hosted by the people who made the UI Builder. You don't have to install this on your PC. You can just run it from their site, load examples from other people, and run them to get a sense and a feel how this thing works. Let's get started. Of course, we're going to save it as a runnable HTML file. I usually save it to the desktop. Now that we saved it, we're going to kind of wash this thing clean, so by pushing the refresh button, it will give you a fresh pad to work with. It's going to prompt you to confirm. Go ahead and do that. Now that we got a clean slate, let's open up our project that we saved. Mine happens to be hosted somewhere, but it can be on your desktop. It doesn't matter where it is. And then we're going to want to go to View Source Code and then copy out what we want. You could start copying at the first comments where it says Class App. That's where it starts. Then you'll stop copying just above the second set of comments on this page. I notice that sometimes when I copy source code like this, like on my wife's computer the other day, some hidden characters seem to be in there, so it didn't work when I pasted it in. So in order to filter those hidden characters out, I'll usually paste it into Notepad, then copy them right back out. That seems to work. Now back at the UI Builder, on the right hand, let's select the tab code. We could select the existing code in here, then delete it, and then paste our new code inside. And if you copied it right, everything will work good. The syntax will check clean, and you're off and running. I feel this tool has a lot of potential. I think you're really only limited by your skill set and your imagination. So until next time, I hope this was useful to some.